All right, so now we've created our easy histogram, and let's clean this up a little bit. Let's do some evaluations here. All right. So first thing, let's format this chart so that way it looks halfway decent. I tend to like well, I don't know. I don't like any of these. Let's just go ahead and let's just add stuff that's proper. So I'm going to go ahead and put axis titles both on the left and the right. And this is going to basically be the time spent distribution. And this on the left is the total time, or this is actually time frequency number, right? Okay, because this is counting the number of times that an occurrence fell inside this bin, right? So what's happening is what we look across here, that's roughly 15, right? And so this column right here represents 15 times that a customer was between 9.3 and 11.8 minutes, right? That's how we deal with a categorization of numerical data or quantitative data. Right? We put it in these little range bins, right? So then, of course, this is bins, and this is, again, time. All right. So now, what are some things that we want to pay attention to with this histogram? All right. So I calculated these on my own, and I use these to evaluate my own axis. Now, I could change this around. I can make it 14 bins, right? And I can see a different type of distribution. I have a tendency to like round numbers, so I prefer to make a bin width set to a specific size, so that way my x-axis can be very simple to view, right? Because if I specify the bin width, Excel is going to go ahead and give me some crazy decimal value. So I'm going to change this back to 2.5 because that's what my bin width was that I preferred earlier. Now, also what we're seeing here in this is that we see a distribution that comes up and then comes down and has a long slope to the right. Now, if you remember in some of the earlier videos, if I have my snowboarder and then that snowboarder is going to slide down the hill from left to right, this is skewed right. Okay. Now, also, I'm seeing that this right here is our most occurring scenario. So I would imagine if I did a mode measurement, it would probably be somewhere around here. But also, there's something happening over here. I would be curious to know if there's some kind of mode scenario going over here. So I can test that, right? I know how to do that. So let's just do mode 1. And then mode 2. And if you guys remember, we have to select these two cells. We set mode, multi. Go to our data set, select time, and then hit Control, Shift, and Enter. Okay, so we can see that it's still showing us that there is not really a second mode to this thing, although it may appear as though that there is. So as what I mentioned earlier is that the mode would be about here. Notice that the values are 11.3, 11.4, which exists in this range in our histogram. Okay. So that was useful. That was useful for us to at least do, so we kind of see how that works together. So one of the things that I want to be able to talk to you about when it comes to histograms is that there's never a perfect histogram until it starts to tell you information about how you want to evaluate your data. Now, keep in mind that you could always leave this on stock of 5 bins, right? And of course, you can start to see the decimals are kind of strange. So maybe if you went to a bin width of 6, it might be a little bit different. But again, this story might be enough for whatever decision you're looking to make. If it's not and you want to see some more refinement, increase the number of bins. Or increase, excuse me, I did the opposite, right? Increase the number of bins by making the bin width a little bit smaller, and make the bin a little bit smaller, make the bin a little bit smaller, until you start to see something that you find interesting. And I might actually stop here at a bin width of 3 using this tool in Excel, because I'm starting to see some kind of separation with this slope, and I kind of might want to investigate what's happening out here on the right. Maybe these are outlier customers. Maybe these are customers that just left their computer, got on the phone, talked to their friend, and got back on, and then that's why they're out here. And it might be that the customers I want to focus on are the customers that are spending roughly from 4 to 20 minutes on my website. And so when I do some analysis of this data and start to make decisions about how I'm going to change my website, I would probably be investigating this type of customer. Okay, so that was just a brief example about how to use some of these data measurements, how to start to analyze our data. I hope that's helpful to you, and good luck.